few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern and talk about guns for an hour. A little bit late tonight. And this lump on my head. What's going on? All right, well, so I didn't send any links out tonight. We'll see if anybody joins up. It is Monday. It makes it April 27th, so we're at the end of April 2020, and it is episode 1071. So a couple people joining us this evening. Like HVS, old people from Hawaii. DTP's out there. Good evening, Dead Horse. Bishop's out there as well. Skynet was not made out of styrofoam, I don't believe. All right, so let's see. Let's dig over into the catalog or the calendar. See what we got in the over on the gun calendars today. I guess we could. Oh no, I can't screen share because of some technical issues. All right, so let's see. We got a couple of things over on guncalendars.com where we try to keep track of our firearms history. Today was Henry Quackenbush, which was the guy who was basically the father of the mass-produced air gun, but not the guy from Daisy who was making windmills and was selling BB guns originally. I can tell that it's Red Dawn in the background. Well, I don't know. I think it's some sort of maybe like somebody wearing a ski jacket, and it's blue. Red Dawns were gray, I think, like a red and orange. Click. All right, so what's happening here?
In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to.
All of a sudden, everything started playing on my other computer over there. Sorry about that. California, are we talking about? I'm not sure where this thing comes from. This is one of the defaults. Got sick of screwing around. I was trying to do something else, so I decided to go with this styrofoam head. And it works. I can open my eyes, close my eyes. I can't really move my neck too much, do this kind of stuff. But it's tracking me and then turning it into styrofoam. This is exactly what I look like, except I have a lump on my head that's a little bit bigger than this one. Let's see. So tomorrow it'll be the Colt Single Action Army Revolver, adopted as the state gun of Arizona. We got the LA riots in 1992 coming up on the Tuesday. Nope, Wednesday, not Tuesday. Girl in Red John had a blue jacket. I don't know about that. Where was that? All right, so we got the Arizona being the second state. What was the first state to choose a state gun? First state to choose a state gun? Somebody out here is from that state? Someone from that state? All right, so Arizona was the second state, and that'll be tomorrow, and that was in 2011. So we've had a state gun for 9 years. Most of you states don't even have a state gun. Yep, Utah, 1911. And that was like months before us. So you guys did it first, and then we copied off you. Montana also has a state gun, I think. But I don't know. The state book got deleted. Let's see. Then we got the LA riots, like I mentioned. That starts up. That lasted until May 4th. So that was basically a lot of tension, police being a bunch of assholes, and everybody involved. Nobody was perfect, and nobody was saints, and nobody was ultimately worse. But a lot of bad stuff happened. And then we had the Rodney King, I believe, started that whole thing off. And then you had a altercation with police and a kid, sort of in South Central. That got out of control, and I think a bunch of onlookers started winging rocks at the cops. The cops retreated and retreated, got the hell out of Dodge. And you had a bunch of police television helicopters up above reporting on the fact that the police retreated, literally left the whole neighborhood. And that encouraged a bunch of people to come outside and participate in massive lawbreaking and rioting and arson and eventually murders and all kinds of horrible shit. And at the same time that horrible shit was happening, some good things happened, but mostly it was horrible shit. And I think there was one gun shop that I didn't get to visit because, I don't know, I didn't think it was probably all that pretty smart to do it without having some sort of awareness of the neighborhood or whatever. But I didn't know where it was either. I think it's not, there's not a lot of signs or something. Anyway, I think there was one gun shop that got looted or something, or they attempted to loot it, but they looted a bunch of other businesses and stuff, the neighborhood there, or the bad guys in the neighborhood. And then, of course, the conclusion of that, or towards the end of that, was when they started going north towards Koreatown, and what's now become a big farce is, justification for why you'd want an AR-15. So it's a big one. I also like to look at the fact that the LA riots are pretty horrible, and some people would say that's an indication of the end of the fall of society and blah, blah, blah. People are so horrible to each other and everybody hates. But it's healed. If you go there now, everything's pretty much rebuilt, and the scars healed. So even horrible things like that, in time, repair. Nobody rioted or looted where I was living or working. Well, because you didn't live in South Central LA. Does it blink if I do this? Is it creepy if I blink really slow? I can't tell if it's blinking because my eyes are closed, and when I open them, my eyes are open again. It's supposed to blink if I blink. LA riots. So then we got the next thing coming up is Military Brats Day on April 30th. That's the last day of the month. April 30th. Then we also have the end of the Vietnam War. Shouldn't fuck around. That's a pretty somber day. 1975, last troops leave Vietnam, leave Saigon. One time me and, was it Jimmy? I think it was either me and Jimmy or me and Bob were at a gun show in Prescott. And we were talking to a guy who ended up being the photographer who took that photograph. He had some photographs he was carrying around with him, and he was donating his photographs, and he had helped, I believe, if I remember the story correctly, he had assembled some other photographs from war photographers of the time, and then they were attempting to find a place to put those photographs and create a museum, and then they were all going to donate their pictures to the museum. So it was kind of interesting. The guy took that picture, and then they had to kind of stop and come back and get them. Let's see. Oh, it is blinking. Good, thanks. I'm not saying if you super chat, I'll quit blinking. Just saying it might not scare your kids so much. Kids shouldn't be watching this, though. Said 50% of Los Angeles unemployed now. Well, that's because 50% of the people in Los Angeles couldn't spell. Most of the people that couldn't spell moved. Let's see. Then we have Girl and Gun annual trading conference was supposed to be on what was that, Thursday? Thursday the 30th, but that's obviously getting changed because of some virus. I don't know if I got the virus. I feel like I don't have a lot of color, but my hair has turned the same color, styrofoam color. A real styrofoam color today. I think one of the big tricks of doing a podcast is to not move your torso at all, ever. Possible. Never move your torso. You can move your head, stuff around, blink, but don't move your torso ever. All right, so that was the calendar. What else do we got going on? We posted some stuff over on the big channel, probably. Let's go look at the big channel. Is anybody out here part of this show? Or is it you just here to check out the styrofoam pile? Why does it do that weird rest smile? That's exactly how I sit around most of the time. Thanks, computer. Took that as my resting picture, I guess. Dead horse knows me. This is pretty much what I look like. My lump on my head is a little bigger than this thing. It's trying to be nice to me. They probably have something set up to make lumps smaller. So embarrass people with giant lumps. Oh, did I kill it? Oh, I finally killed this little stupid mosquito that's been buzzing around. Can you hear when I set off my mosquito tennis racket? I'll look to the left whenever I turn on the mosquito tennis racket. All right, let me kill the mosquito I've been trying to kill for a while. All right. I'm not smiling. That's just how I rest. Whenever I'm sitting at rest, that's the face I make. Like when I'm sleeping, that's how it looks. My teeth are barred like that. All right. I don't know what it does whenever I look down like that, because I can't see what it's doing. That's weird. When I stick my tongue out, it just makes that weird noise in that look. Looks just like me. I have the same dent on the side of my head and that same lump on top of my head. And I look like this whenever I'm not talking. All right, well. Posted a video about these little lanterns for Instant Tech. They're kind of neat. You can get cheap ones, so they're less expensive. But I don't know if I'd rather have nice ones or bad ones. We talked about it being Quackenbush for Father of the Air Gun's birthday. Posted a video about stickers. I don't remember what order those stickers are in. That was a burden. Making those sticker videos took like 2 days, felt like. So, yeah, whenever I lean away from the camera, it just closes its eyes and sits there like it's having a stroke. Yep, it can't figure out what to do when I move my head out of the way, so it just reaches over like that. It does all kinds of, oh, look at that. How do I make it do that again? All right, well, so what else do we got going on? Nobody's saying anything, so I don't have a script or nothing here. Talk about Patreon, I guess. Let's see what's happening on the Patreon. Got some new, well, a new hard drive coming in the mail. Hopefully it'll be here Friday, it says. Oh, that's right. I knew I wanted to check out something on Patreon. Problem is, this mosquito bit me in the ankle. So I keep reaching over to scratch my ankle, and then the computer looks weird when I do that. It looks weird when I scratch my ankle. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it was. I posted this thing about some ideas for what to do next. If I move this over to here, then maybe I won't be looking over to the right so much. So we've got this survey up, kind of interesting results. That's how I yawn. I just make my mouth like this for a long time, and air goes in. All right, so let's see. We got 2A history, Second Amendment history projects leading the way by almost twice as many votes as anything else, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of what I dig doing. I had a couple other ones up there to kind of make that a little bit more specific. Hold on. That is kind of the face I make when I itch my ankle, though. Let's see. So we've got Second Amendment history projects coming in number 1. Sorry about that. It's getting tired and late. Let's see. Got that one coming in with 17 votes, and then we have 1, 2, 3 coming in with 10 votes for second place. So it's a tie, three-way tie for second place. One is working on new playing cards decks. One is finishing the Kalashnikov ID playing card deck series, doing decks 2 and 3. And then the next one is 2A history, but specifically firearms history, not just Second Amendment history. And I don't know which one would be greater. I think firearms history is a broader view, and Second Amendment history is a more narrow view. At least that's the way I look at it. So it looks like the Patreons are asking for mostly Second Amendment history, and then equally firearms history in general, the AK decks being finished, and then more playing card decks, which is kind of curious. I didn't think that one would even get those. Then we've got a couple of things coming in for third. Sorry, I'm getting that mosquito bite itch out of there. It's still itching me. We got 2 things that are basically close. One is working on the books that we lost, and then the other is 2A history, specifically ammo, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I don't know, probably about as much as the AK stuff, about equally as much of interest in doing each of those. I have no idea which will take longer. Probably the KK stuff will be quicker, because there's only so much AK stuff. There's so much more ammo stuff, don't you think? I think there's more history of ammo than there is history of AKs. Even though there's so many AKs, they're so prolific, because well, the AKs have only been around since the 70s, really. Well, 40s, I guess, technically. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. So many more different calibers and types of ammo. Does people sit around like this when they're at rest? This is using, and what is this? Adobe Character Animator. It's some software that basically puts a bunch of points on your face, right? It makes your face look like a bunch of dots, and then I pipe the webcam into this thing, which puts this mask on it, or this, what do you call it, like puppet. So basically it automatically uses the computer to jam my face up inside of a puppet and then broadcast that to the duck. So then I basically I think of it like this. There's a duck, and then someone takes a puppet and they kind of wrinkle it up or twist it up and they push it into the duck. And then I come along and cram my face into that puppet. So my face is never actually touching the duck, but technically my face is in the duck. Technically, through the webcam. And then it happens to look like styrofoam. That's the closest to the way I figured the puppet should look for today's show. All the other ones look dumb. This is the only one that didn't look dumb. So Army patrol leaders in Vietnam did carry AK. Anyone know why? Never heard of anything like that. Oh wait, are you talking about our guys in Vietnam? They would carry AKs so that when they shot people, it wouldn't sound like an M16, and so that would cause confusion and derision amongst the opposing forces. Also, they could pick one up and use it using their ammo. So they were on, depending on who you're talking about, long range reconnaissance patrol. Is that what you're talking about? You know, MAXOG V. Those guys really didn't have, as far as I know, real job descriptions yet. They were kind of the descendants of OSS, so kind of making out jobs. So they may or may not have been out by themselves doing things beyond the lines of supply. So I imagine it'd be a lot easier to get our hands on a Kalashnikov, especially if you take them off of dead bodies, right? And then have a bunch of ammo. Yep. That's why I see. You can't point in this version, but that's why I'm wearing this camouflage shirt, so that I blend in with the Vietnamese jungle behind me, and then also that guy who's skiing with the blue ski jacket on. Why does the face get smaller when I yawn? I guess it's because of like the puppet is in the duck, and when you yawn, you got less pressure, so the pressure of the duck squishes into the puppet. All right, well, I had a couple of things to chat about, and I'm drawing a blank like usual. That hard drive will be here a little sooner than later, so I'm going to be able to get back at it before the weekend, which is good. Saying you had to go through foreign weapons training before I went downrange to make sure you could use them. Probably just to get an idea too, from what I understand, so you have a familiarization of what all is out there. So if you hear something, find something, you have some idea what it is. But there's so much stuff. I mean, that could take a week. Because when the patrols were known by NVA to be operating an area, the VC could sweep the area in a line and stay in. The NVA would stop every hour to start a fire shot in the air. Oh, another to stay in line, the NVA would stop to fire a shot. I don't know about all that. Will you continue the TP flexing? Yeah, I don't know. I've made a bunch of videos where they were on top of toilet paper, probably, so it'll probably keep happening. There's some neat books. There's one about Rangers. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but I never knew any Rangers or anything. Not were they Rangers? They were Scouts, I guess. So, what do they call them, Rangers? I don't remember what they were called, but they were basically Scouts. I think they were just called Scouts. So, but they would go on long-range patrols and bring back recon. I think it was recon scouts, but it was Army, not Marines. anyway, that was an interesting book. It was nonfiction, and that gave you some insight. And it was actually kind of insight into not some like crazy battle that was well known, but kind of just the mundane day to day, if I remember right. And that was actually really insightful. Then I've read a book about Pathfinders, and those are the guys that would get out there and figure out the LZs, the landing zones for the bigger troop movements. So that was a pretty crazy, risky job. And then they're probably the last out, I'm guessing, too. Let's see. Then, of course, Marcinko stuff, even though he's Navy, he's freaking got some interesting books. So Rogue Warrior is the one that's about Vietnam. And that's the kind of stuff HVS is talking about, where you basically would take units and go do stuff out in the, beyond the front lines kind of stuff. Probe around and figure out what's going on and wear no shoes or no boots or anything. Just walk around bare feet with AKs, screwing with them coming in the back doors. Interesting stuff, always written in a different way than now for sure. You read like the books from the guys nowadays and they're definitely written differently. Still got 10 people listening, but I don't know. Now with these wearing off, trying to figure out how to work this thing. And I also figured out I can't screen share, right? So that's annoying because I guess I'm already screen sharing. But I didn't really have anything else to screen share tonight, I don't think. I did want to kind of look at the Patreon thing. I haven't gotten too many comments on it. We did get a couple, though. So they're talking about the poll over on Patreon as far as some directions for future works here, efforts. Let's see. So Darren is saying, I voted on work on new books only because I think starting a new book might be less frustrating now than rewriting one that was lost. But yeah, it's kind of important, but not easy to prioritize. Or it's all kind of important, but not easy to prioritize. That's a good point. The ones that I wrote were about Second Amendment stuff. And honestly, I don't think too many people care about too much of that stuff. So that's one of the reasons I wrote them first, so that they would exist. And yeah, I'm just not sure if it's worth going back and recreating them. We'll keep looking for insight or feedback on that. But yeah, going forward on a new book, for sure. Honestly, just to, as soon as you start writing something, you get, I don't know, it's about 50% of the way in it. At some point, you get into a project and you could have probably done some things differently, but you're already 50% into it, so you're not going to start from scratch. It's an opportunity to start from scratch. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff to redo, but I can also take the option or opportunity to change a few things. Let's see. Yeah, better listening to. I agree. Ghost of Sam Marcinko is fascinating to listen to or to read. He's one of the few people that I know of that reads his own books. So his books, well, the first one was Rogue Warrior, and that's nonfiction. And that describes his service and then his role in Vietnam, which led him to his role in Red Cell, which was his role, and he created the SEALs. So if you've heard of Navy SEALs, well, if you've heard of SEAL Team 6, I should say, Navy SEALs existed. But if you heard of SEAL Team 6, the hostage rescue, I guess you just call it the hostage rescue thing, right? He's the guy that invented SEAL Team 6 after the Delta Force thing in the 80s. So Rogue Warrior talks about all that. And then Red Cell, my favorite, is still nonfiction. And then basically got in trouble for saying stuff, from what I understand, and everything else is fiction. So everything else you sort of take with a grain of salt. But super interesting to listen to him. He's a SEAL and a Navy guy, so really interesting flavor, right? Let's see, I don't know if Bob's ever read Marcinko or anything. I actually have a Red Cell VHS tape over here that's going to be going out to a Patreon. So if there's a Patreon out there with a VHS, let me know. I'm reading LLRP command by some guy. Okay. I have not read that either. Let's see, the Cavs, LRP Rangers in Vietnam. I don't remember if they were Cav. They were not anything I was in. So whenever I was listening to it, it was all foreign to me when I was reading about the Scout. I think that's what you're talking about there. There's Biker Bob out there. We need to have a van chat whenever Bob's got some time to have a chat. We need to have a van chat. Maybe even start doing a van chat on the regular. Got all kinds of interesting van stuff to talk about. Yep, the man, the myth, the legend. Biker Bob. I didn't send any links out tonight, so nobody's joining in. Let's see. So we also had another comment on the Patreon suggestion poll over there. And that is, that's something else I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's see, it's not on the list, but one of the ideas came up with, I think has a lot of potential, is Every Second Matters. I didn't come up with Every Second Matters, thanks, but Every Second Matters was just a thing that happened from the community. One of the reasons I ran gun channels for 7 years is because I could see a community could do it. A bunch of individuals who weren't trying to or weren't able to take credit for anything could do, like what the results, what the consequences of that type of environment could be. And Every Second Matters was that, or is that. It's just a concept, an awareness campaign that a bunch of people have participated in. And I'm not saying I participated in the whole time. It's a long time, 7 years. There's whole bunches of times. Ask Bob. I mean, if he's even paid attention, there's been whole months at a time where I've given up on giving a shit about Every Second Matters. And then every once in a while, somebody will do something or something will happen that it seems like it's worth it again, and they'll put attention back into it. And I'm sure everybody else has gone through different versions of the same thing. And that's what it's all about. It's just it's either there because people want it to be, or it won't be there. And that'll be as a consequence of it not being there because people don't want it to be. So appreciate the concept or the intent there. But yeah, I didn't make Every Second Matters. I'm just the one who happens to be willing to pay for the domain, I guess. Let's see. So then I know you started some time ago, but I think it should be something invested more time in, certainly. I think going back and forth on that, unfortunately, I can't make people care about it or put time into it. So all I can do is what I've done. Another project on your list is a handbook for new 2A activists, like how to get started, talking points. So that's actually what the Minuteman University is all about, the website, but I could certainly package that up into like a handbook or a pamphlet. That's getting easier and easier to do. So yeah, I'm going to definitely take them up on that idea. I'm assuming JK is a sugar mama, so I'm going to take her up on that. I think you're at your best when fired up about second. Any way to channel that is a good thing. I think some of your interviews, activists, how they got started, are the most interesting. So that's also pretty insightful. So thanks for that. And I already got 2 interviews lined up, but it's just a matter of getting back on the wagon or whatever, back on the horse and getting in the swing of it. But yeah, I'm planning on doing some more interviews, probably with the styrofoam puppet, because it's pretty appealing. How many super chats have we got tonight because of it? We need to figure out a way to make the nostrils flare. That's the one thing that's not normal about this. Whenever I talk, my nostrils constantly flaring up and then shrinking down like gills on a fish, and then flare out like wings on a hummingbird. Marcinko created 6 after Delta. Yep. Bob even looks like a horde. Oh shit, shots fired. Canadians, people that volunteered to go overseas before the United States even was interested in World War II, maybe even World War I. Nobody can remember back that far, but certainly World War II. Canadians risked their own lives, taking airplanes, going over there and kicking the shit out of Nazis in World War II before we even bother. And then this guy, where's he at? This guy comes along, his Navy ways, telling Bob in his Canadian way, in his Canadian Air course, friends. They're a bunch of punks. That's the way I see it. Look at this. What is somebody quit twerking us tonight? All right, so what we're going to talk about? Oh, let's talk about some patches. So I can't screen capture so much, but I guess I'll have to stop screen capturing. Now you see nothing, I guess. Can you still hear me? I don't know if I'm even still in here. So now we'll try to, oh, we won't be doing it over there. Nope, we won't be doing it over there. How about we cancel that? How about we try to, nope, that won't work either. What if we put this over here and do this? Oh, wait, this might work. This might work right here. What if I do this now? Boom. Now you got this creepy thing right here, and you got your chat right here. Boom. There we go. So now, what? I can take this over here, and no, I can look for this. Open this up over here. Go in here, maybe? Here? 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 And no. All right, so that means that is plugged in. However, I have to turn it on probably. All right, what is this over here? Lots of Americans joined the Canadian Army to go to World War II before we got it. Not about lots, but yeah, definitely some. Because the Canadians were already over there fighting the war. What did I do over here? I just needed to open this up, and why isn't it? Because it's not plugged in. All right, so now I need to, oh, I see, I can't plug both things in. Shit. I'm going to unplug this. That should make some noise, and then I'll plug this in. And this will make a little bit of noise, and hopefully it doesn't glitch anything out. All right. And now I can just open up a picture over here, I guess, maybe. Over here. And let's go to here, and here, and here, and here. And eventually I'll get the picture that I'm looking for. All right. That's weird. When I blow into my lips, like if you're blowing on a trumpet, it makes my eyebrow go up. Yep. So let's see what we got going on over here. We have got, oh, what did I not take anything? Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, these are all videos. Shit, I didn't even take a picture. All right, I'll have to open up the video if that'll work. Oh, that's weird. I look over here, it makes your head small. So this is if you shoot like a regular caliber, like 45 or 10 millimeters. This is when you shoot 9 millimeter. You're still a regular person. You just have much smaller head and face. Really, people can't hear you as well. There you go. But when you're normal size, shoot a normal size caliber, everybody can hear you better. And you can close your eyes much times. All right, I don't think I'm going to be able to open up a picture, so I'm going to open up this. And, oh, what's happening? What is happening? Is it still glitching? Playing music and all. How about don't play? Oh, it won't even open because of all this, maybe? Is this just a laptop? I don't know how big of a video card I can have in it. Oh, here we go. So let's take a look at what we got going on in this video. Let's put it right in front of my face like this. So you see what we got going on here? Boom. I'll just pause it. This is, for for the Patreons going on out there, and not just the Patreons, but people over on the Gear website store that have purchased a bunch of stuff. So if you're in the 500 club over on the Gear website store, and you know if you are, and if you're in the 300 club over on the Patreon, then we're going to make a patch of one of these guns here, and then you'll receive that patch at the end of May. So that's the way we're going to say thanks for everything our Patreons do for us and the people that purchase up at the store. And we're going to let our Patreons pick which one of these we're going to make a patch out of. And then we'll send that patch to the person that gets randomly drawn from the 500 Club over on the Gear website store and the 300 Club over on the Patreon. And anybody who might be like on the 250 Club on both is the same as being on, you know, what we're talking about. So hopefully that's cool and everybody's happy with that. And need to reorder my software, and then we'll get started on making this patch in the next few days. All right, well, so what do we got going on here? We're 42 minutes in, so that's about an hour. Let's see. Canada paid for F-35s with their beer and maple syrup. Yep, which is used to turn into ethanol. Veteran of the Sharpie marker knife wars. Yep. What would be the situation for someone who is driving to Vegas and then driving to LA? Is that legal? Is it legal to do that? And then let's say you did that. Is it legal to drive around? Let's say you wanted to drive around LA to the locations where they filmed Terminator and Night of the Comet. Because from what I figure, LA must look like Night of the Comet right now. Is that legal? Would it be legal to do that? Would it be legal to, let's say, rent a gas economy car and then drive to Vegas and see Vegas dark, and then drive to LA and see LA in Night of the Comet land? I'm curious if that would be legal. Otherwise, right now, LA is magic, zero traffic, you can drive around. Is it legal? Everything is closed, though. I don't care about being closed as much as if it's legal. But I think it's turning into a California chat. Everybody from California is chatting. So that'd be what I'm curious about, is if it's legal to do that. Otherwise, where are we at? We are talking about a thank you gift to our people over on the Gear website store who purchased a bunch of stuff. People on Patreon who've been around for a while. We're going to say thanks by sending them out a thank you item this month, and that'll be chosen by our Patreons. So stay tuned for more of that throughout the month of Makeroff. And let's see, it's almost the end of April, so we might still be able to sneak some April stuff in as things are wrapping up. And we still got 10 people out there, and curious to see if anybody has anything else. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up with just under an hour, I guess, tonight. Motels are open. I don't need a motel, I don't think. And I don't think I would spend too much time there. I know a couple of people in LA, and I know people in Vegas, so I might be able to, you know, I'd have to spend somewhere, I'd have to sleep somewhere, but I'm not talking about spending an extended trip as much as just getting some footage and experiencing the two cities with no traffic and just, you know, empty I'm assuming that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And since it's a month into this whole thing, I would assume it's going to be neat to see the environmental change. You know, those pictures of the smog or the lack of smog. It would be neat to experience that. And aside from that, how long are y'all on lockdown? If like Arizona's about to end our lockdown. So if y'all are in lockdown for another month, then I'd have plenty of time to do that trip. I don't know when Vegas is ending their lockdowns either. Are you saying that May 31st, so April, May, you got another month worth of lockdown? And then, I don't know, is anybody else saying anything? With that, I guess we'll just switch it back to this, I guess. Stop sharing. Screen share application. We'll just go straight back to this. That's more pleasant for people, probably. Let's see. I don't know who that is. Is that your mayor of LA? Like I say, if I drive there, would I be able to drive around, or would it be like martial law and I'd be kicked out of there because I don't have Arizona plates or something? Because I got this lump on my head. People are weird about driving around with lumps on your head. Governor extended. Nobody's driving to Hawaii. So that's your fault for living on an island. What you could do is get like a tube, a large tube, and like what they used underneath of the that kind of thing, the English Channel, and then drop one of them tubes, except get a longer one, I guess, and then run it from that big island over there all the way over to California somewhere. Then you just drive underwater in that tube. Yeah, see, then I would think drive into LA would be amazing. It would be pretty cool. And seeing all that unprecedented stuff right now. So let's go over here and real quickly open this up. And just for the scientific curiosity, oh, look. This is what happens when you shoot. Wait, how do I do it? I do this? I don't know how I did that. This is when you shoot 9mm. And this is when you shoot regular caliber. All right, so let's say if I went from, where'd my mouse go? After crypto. So let's see, Tucson to, how about directions? How about you give me some directions? Can't find the button. To Las Vegas. And then add a destination to Los Angeles. And then add a destination to Tucson. Would you go to Los Angeles and then and then Las Vegas? Or would you go to Las Vegas and then Los Angeles? Or would you go to Los Angeles and then Las Vegas? All right, so we're talking 1,383 miles. Boring, and it has me going from, oh, I did it in the wrong order. So if I go from Tucson to Las Vegas to Los Angeles back to Tucson, it's 1,069 miles. And if I go the other way, it's 1,068 miles. So I save a mile if I go to Los Angeles first. That's a lot of gas, so I don't know which way I would go first. But yeah, it drives me pretty much a big triangle and 17 hours. So yeah, I could do that in a day, too. All right, so now let's do the tough part, the maths. So now we're going to open up a calculator to do the maths electronically, and we're going to say 1,668 miles. Let's go ahead and round that up to 1,200 miles. And then what are we going to say? Divided by, let's say, 13 miles a gallon. That's 92 gallons of gas right there. Is that true? Normally that would be like $300, right? But today, for this low price, wait, how much is gas in Los Angeles right now? It is kind of like $5 normally, right? But let me see if I can type gas price into a map over here. Gas map. Gas prices, Google Maps. Okay, great. So now if I come up here and zoom out and go to LA, search this area. What are we looking at? What are we looking at over here? You going to tell us how much this gas is? $3.20. You going to tell me how much it is? No. $3.50. Oh no, $2.90. $2.90. I found it for $2.90. You're closer to San Francisco. I'm not driving up to there. But $3 ain't nothing. That is still $300 though. But well, I guess I'll go up by Vegas and look what gas is up by Vegas. So show me which gas is up here. Stupid map. Argo, 266. Chevron, $3. It's basically $3 in Vegas as well. So $2 in Arizona, $3 in Vegas. So it would be $200 worth of gas to make that trip, right? Is that what I came up with? Something like that. So there you go. All right, so that was an interesting test. So it would take $200 to drive around and see dead Vegas and dead Los Angeles. What's the odds this is the last time you're going to see Vegas dark and Los Angeles in the Night of the Comet land? Until they film another Night of the Comet, of course. If they film Night of the Comet 2, they'll, of course, pay Los Angeles people to stay home for a week or whatever, a month. You would think they'd be filming a lot of videos right now, or a lot of movies right now, right? We have a road trip through Tucson to Lordsburg to pick up a bunch of guns coming up after Carvid. Lordsburg. What the hell is Lordsburg? Lordsburg. Does that sound familiar? Oh, in Lordsburg, New Mexico. No wonder I'm not finding it in Arizona. I'm like, that certainly sounds familiar. Lordsburg. There ain't shit in Lordsburg. How are you going to find it in Lordsburg? That's where me and Bob went to try to eat lunch one time. And that little restaurant was closed. I think it might be open now, though, Bob. Been past there a couple more times. That's right past the shit part of that one part of desert, and then right before you get into a really boring part for a while. But there's some really cool rest areas. Let's see. Just zoom over here and screen capture this screen now, I guess. And then flip it to this. And then one of them is over here, and that one's not as good. But I think it's the one over here. And then New Mexico rest area, right here. This one is pretty damn good. How many people have been to this rest area before? You'd know it when you see it. Boom. And that's the looking north. That's what a truck looks like when you look at a truck. And then this is the rest area. It's pretty awesome. So you can come in here and drive around. I don't know if the thing's going to let me, but you can go get your own little house. You have these little houses all around. There's that one, there's that one, there's that one. So you come in off of the highway like this, right? Come in like this, and then come in, and then you basically just drive in this little road over here. These are the shitters, and then here's all these little houses. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. There's like a dozen of them or more. 2 dozen? I don't know, there's a bunch of them. You got these little houses you can hang out at. Otherwise, that's pretty much what New Mexico looks like. Nothing. So that's what Lordsburg looks like too. Just in case you were going to take this portion of the sky and use it, Google's like, no, you ain't. We got our copyright on there. Dang it. I was going to use this portion. I was going to make some money on this portion too. Dang it. Let's see. I usually stay in Lordsburg if I'm going on the 10. Pretty neat little town. It had a Japanese internment camp there. Oh, I didn't know about that, or did I? What do you mean you stay there? Like you have gone there, or you actually visit there? Because it's just a couple of 6 truck stops or something. Where'd it go? Here it is. So there is this stretch of really weird desert with the solar factory in it. But there's the Loves and there's the Flying J, and then there's that restaurant that me and Bob tried to find over here somewhere. And I guess all these houses, I guess these people are allowed to own guns. It's legal. I don't know what they do in Lordsburg. I think we stopped at the, what do you call it? There's a thing right when you come into town. So it must be over here. The New Mexico travel thing or whatever. It's got Wi-Fi. You pretty much, everybody stops here. You have to. It's boring New Mexico, and it's the only thing you can stop at besides nothing. So you're going to stop here. And I think depending on how much gas you have, you kind of have to stop here. If you're like Bob, you know, he has to get gas because he only can carry so much. I think he might have to stop here. So I don't know. We went in here, I think, and New Mexico does give you maps. That's always good. Let's see if anybody's seen anything. We'll go back over here and flip it back over to this. So nobody freaks out. Oh, it's too late. So the old people are going to sleep. Good night, old people. Lived there 6 years ago, or 4 or 6 years. Huh. I stay there overnight and head to LA directly from there. Crazy. Oh, okay. So there's actually people in Lordsburg. What's the deal with Lordsburg? Mining, or just do as a spot on, you know, the route or something for gas? Or is there something there? I'm not aware of. Salt or something. All right. Oh yeah, he even admits it. Time for old people to sleep. Let's see. All the post houses. I don't know what that is. Railroad town and mining. I don't know how there could be ranching, but maybe goats or something. But I guess I could see mining. Although it seems pretty sandy. I don't know what to mine there. Oops, that's what it looks like when you eat ice. So, you know, like Armadillo, Texas, that's helium. That's where all the helium comes from. So I figured it's something like that no one knows about, some kind of metal that made it famous or something. Or nearby, right? And then it's closest to the highway or to the railroad or whatever. I think the railroad goes right past there. That's why figure 10 kind of parallels the railroad, right? All right, well, with that, it is an hour, and this one isn't working that great. It's a little limiting having this puppet going. So again, I basically took a puppet and I rolled it up and I stuck it into the duck, El Pato. And then I stuck my face into the puppet, and that way you can see what's happening. When I say stuff, the puppet says stuff. And pretty much, except for the lump being a little small, that's pretty much what it looks like when I say stuff. Mostly made out of styrofoam. Dry cleaner in the lumberyard. So imagine it was like Tombstone and Bisbee and some of those, like once there was stagecoaches or things besides railroads, that was like the pit stops along the way, like the amount of time people could travel, just like Angelina, like that's the place to stage or whatever to rest and then be able to hit the next segment of the trip or something. All right, well, I'm yawning. It looks weird when I yawn. I look like a 9mm shooter every time I yawn. This puppet. So we'll wrap it up. We'll say thanks again to the people that join us live, and we'll keep doing the show this time every night, which is midnight at Eastern. And maybe tomorrow we'll be in Las Vegas looking at none of the lights on. Does anybody know if the lights are on yet in Las Vegas? Let me go find out when Las Vegas's lights are on. Maybe we'll be in LA driving around tomorrow night. Never know. We'll find out when you join us tomorrow night on the Daily Gun Show. Thanks for joining.